Hi, my name's Jules and welcome to the XLMOTO Garage. Today we're going to be covering motorcycle pants. What's available, the different styles, why you should wear them, and most importantly, how to get the correct size. Hi there, I'm Jules and today we're down at the XLMOTO Garage where we're covering a buyer's guide to motorcycle pants. So we're going to cover what kind of pants are available on the market, we'll cover what protection they give you, as well as how to choose the correct size because there are so many different pants out there available. You know, the basics of it are you really need to look at the kind of riding you're doing and the conditions you're going to be doing it in. Because at the end of the day, there's no point buying a thermal pair of waterproof pants if you live in southern Europe and it's going to be hot. Now, adversely, if you're going to be in Northern Europe, there's no point buying a pair of lightweight pants which have no water resistancy or thermal protection. So we'll cover all of that in today's guide and show you the types of pants that are available and hopefully the type of pant that you could use. So we'll start with leather pants. So leather pants have been being worn by bikers for a long time. However, advances in modern technology mean that leather pants are certainly a lot more comfortable than they used to be. They're also articulated to provide the riding position that you need when you're in the race position. Now, normally, if you're riding a bike at high speeds or if you're riding on a track, they certainly won't let you onto a track unless you have a decent pair of leather pants. And if you're going to be like riding even on the roads at high speed, then leather pants are probably going to be the best option for you. Now we'll run through a few features of these leather pants and what goes into the construction of them. So for a start, leather, highly abrasion resistant. So if you are going to come off the bike, there's going to be no chance of you actually getting any burns on yourself because the leather's going to take all of the impact, if you like, or the abrasion. Now these particular pants, these days, they've been designed so they have air holes in, so it will allow airflow to go through. Traditionally, leather used to be very warm and hot and sticky, but they've made them so that they are actually quite comfortable to wear these days. We also have things like accordion panels, stretch panels, both on the knees and at the back, which means that you'll just be in a more comfortable riding position when you're ducked down on the bike. In terms of protection, we have knee protection, we have hip protection, and we also have removable sliders. So when you're kind of getting your leg down like Rossi on the corner, you know, this is going to be what's going to be contacting with the road and not the leather itself. These days, most of these, like this, are removable. So once your slider gets down to a certain use, you can just replace the slider, place it back on the knee, and you're good to go again. A few other things on these, they have adjustable waist these days so that it will allow a certain amount of adjustable fit. They have a slightly higher back so it just covers your coccyx, and there's usually a zip as well. So if you're wearing a set of race leathers, you don't want a gap between your jacket and your back, so usually you're able to zip these up and that will mean that there's no gap between you and your jacket. The fit is actually supposed to be quite tight because you don't really want to be sliding around if you fall off your bike and room in between you and the leathers. So you'll notice things like the calves are super tight, but there are zips. So you pull out the zip, you put your leg through, you do the zip up, and then your boot goes over the top of the leathers. So if you're going to be riding at high speed or you're going to be track riding, then a set of leathers is an indispensable item that you should really be wearing on your bike. So let's move on to mesh panel trousers. So mesh panel trousers are great if you're going to be riding in warmer conditions. There's nothing worse than being on a bike, being sweaty, being hot and being uncomfortable. So designers have put together mesh panel trousers. Essentially what that means is they put in mesh panels that allows the airflow to pass through because mesh has lots of tiny holes in it. So there's nothing to stop the air from passing directly through the pant and directly onto your leg, therefore keeping you nice and cool. Now, these trousers do also come with adequate protection, so you'll find there's protection on the hips, you will find that there's protection on the knees, and just to make them a little bit more comfortable, these particular ones have accordion panels just above the knee. They also have accordion panels on the back. So when you're constantly moving and changing, this makes life a whole lot more comfortable for you, especially in the warmer climates. So the one thing that these trousers are not suitable for is obviously if it's going to rain, because the mesh will allow the water through, and also if it's cold, because there is no protection from the cold. They're really specific to being ridden in warmer climates and hotter temperatures. So if you're not going to be touring, and you're not going to be riding long distances, and you're not going to be going off-road, the other alternative that's very popular these days are jeans. So jeans have come a long way in the last 20 years. They used to be fully lined, they used to be uncomfortable, they used to get hot. However, now, with modern technologies, it means that they're allowed to place the protective panels in the key areas where it's required. So things like aramid or Kevlar can actually be woven into the fabric itself. So it means if you do accidentally come off your bike and take a slide down the road, it's not just going to go straight through the jean and straight through to your skin. It will offer protection for you. Additionally to this, most jeans will have a pocket which will allow you to put in knee pads, and they will also have pockets which allow you to put in pads for your hips as well. So there's a certain level of impact protection involved with them as well. There are even a few companies that are weaving in a water repellency into their jeans these days, so they can be used for slightly different conditions. Now, the good thing about them is that obviously when you're on your bike, you're just wearing a pair of jeans. When you're off your bike, you're just wearing a pair of jeans. Super cool, super casual, super great. Plenty to choose from. Just check out the XLMOTO website. Textile pants, whether you're touring, commuting, dual sport riding, adventuring, there will probably be a textile pant for you. However, they do come with varying degrees of water resistance, they do come with different linings, they do come with thermal linings, so you really just need to think about the sort of riding that you're going to be doing, where you're going to be riding, and what the weather conditions are going to be like. So if we take this pair here, most textile pants will have a certain amount of water resistancy to them. However, they will also have options where you will have a waterproof lining. As well as a waterproof lining, you can have a thermal lining. So basically these pants are versatile. It means that you can take the waterproof lining out, you can take the thermal lining out. Therefore, if you're going on a long ride in variable weather conditions, these pants will work in all those conditions. Now that said, if you're somewhere warm and hot, of course you take the linings out, and the pants come with ventilation, so you can open up the ventilation zippers and you'll get plenty of airflow to go through the pant. They will also have big openings for your boots, usually with Velcro straps, so you can either wear it inside the boot or outside the boot. There will be reflective details because it could be worn in the city, it could be worn on the road. Reflective stripes and panels are always good things to look out for. Finally, protection. So we have knee protection in the knee here. We also have padding in the hip. So there's plenty of protection should you take a tumble on the bike. Now, as I say, there are plenty of different options available. Some pants will have a Gore-Tex lining, so you won't need any liners whatsoever. If you're in Northern Europe, yes, you need to be thinking about water resistancy and water repellency, and you probably need to be thinking about thermal liners. However, if you're in the Southern Europe side of things, then you probably don't need so much insulation, and you probably don't need the waterproofness. So just to summarize, motorcycle pants, there are lots of different styles available. There's lots of different fabrics available. There's lots of different constructions available. However, you just need to be honest with yourself about what you'll be riding, where you'll be riding, and the conditions you'll be riding in. So, just a quick recap. Leather, great abrasion resistance, great for high-speed riding, great for on-track use, can be a little bit warm in hot weather. Then we have textile pants. Textile pants, they're great. They have great versatility. They're amazing. You can be worn in different conditions, so they will protect against the wind, the rain, the sun, the heat. An awesome pant for riding, whether you're commuting, whether you're adventure riding, whether you're ADVing, or whether you're touring. Mesh pants, it has a specific use. They have the mesh panels. They're intended for hot and warm climates. But you can wear them whether you're commuting, you can wear them to the city, you can wear them dual sport riding. However, they don't offer quite as much protection, and you will get cold if it gets cold, and you will get wet if it rains. And finally, if you just want to be cruising, or you want to pop down to the local cafe, or you're commuting into work, then a pair of jeans. You know, with the technology that are in jeans these days, they offer a great level of protection when you're just cruising about. So that's pants. Think about what you need, where you're going, the weather you'll be in, and you'll choose the exact pant for you from XLMOTO.com. Okay, so you've now decided which pant that you require. The first thing to do is probably go onto the XLMOTO website and just check the size guides, because different manufacturers may have slightly different sizing. However, just to measure yourself, there's two things. You may think, well, okay, I know my waist size, I know my jean size. Well, that's not necessarily how motorcycle pants are measured. So normally the way that motorcycle pants are measured is just around the belly button. You don't want it to be too tight, and you don't want it to be too loose. So just with a little finger width in between there will give you a waist measurement. The second measurement that you're going to want to take is your inseam. And your inseam is just from inside your crotch, and it measures down to your inside ankle bone while your leg is straight. That will give your inseam, and there may be a third measurement that's sometimes asked for or that you can check, and that's just your hip measurement. And that simply goes around the hip, and that could be used for some manufacturers in their specifications. I will just mention, if you're going to purchase leather trousers, leather biker pants, they are intended to be tight. However, leather does have some stretch in it. So if you order a pair and they're too large, the chances are that they'll probably stretch out a little bit and become even larger. So if they're a little tight to start with, don't worry too much, because they will take a little bit of wearing in, and that leather will give a little to provide the exact fit. Okay, so now you should know the style of pant that you would like to choose. You'll know how to measure it so you get the right fit. So that's it from us. Thanks for watching, and we hope you have a great ride.